NEAR has just struck a partnership with MCN. Tell us a little bit about what NEAR is and what you've been doing.
NEAR is a location intelligence platform, and what that means is that we look at the behaviour of a large volume of mobile devices in Australia, and we look at those devices as a proxy for the behaviour of the owners of those devices. A good example would be we would see a device going through a domestic airport 4 times in 30 days. That device would also work in a CBD building location, and we would apply an audience segment to that device of being a frequent business traveller, for example.
Why MCN for NEAR?
So in late 2014, we raised through Telstra Ventures for our Series B, which is when we entered the Australian market, and at that point we started learning more and more about the broader Telstra family. Something that we've been consistently impressed with around MCN is that their approach to sales representation is what I would describe as non-traditional, in the sense that MCN not only has a highly capable, high-performance sales team in Australia representing brands and delivering $1.5 billion worth of revenue, but more importantly, they know how to manage and integrate data partnerships, and they've got a track record of doing so with the likes of people like Telstra, Quantium, Foxtel, big data players in this market. That combination is something that we intend on executing.
So NEAR has been in the market for a couple of years, not, I don't think, under your own brand, but tell us a little bit about that and some of the work that you have been doing.
We've been operating in Australia, as I say, since late 2014. In that time, we've probably executed on the best part of 600 or so campaigns for the top 100 advertisers in Australia. Whether or not those advertisers know that they've been using our technology is another question.
How many devices in the NEAR network, if you like?
So we look at our network on a 30-day basis to yesterday. And on any given 30 days, recently there'd be between 14 and 16 million devices. And that's against a landscape of about 26 million smart devices in Australia. So we represent about 60% of the population's smart devices.
Quick service restaurants, how would it work?
Yeah, so first of all, we'd look at who's the most likely audience to frequent a QSR. So, let's call it a male 18 to 25. Then we'd look at their most recent 30, 60 or 90-day relationship with various quick serve restaurants.
And simply by where the device has
been observed, exactly right. And then once we understood what our audience pool was, we would target those audiences in apps that they use every day across a range of different categories. And we could also extend that to either the proximity-based targeting, that is, when they're in a 500-metre radius of a QSR, they would get the necessary advertising, or flip that on its head, and we'd use footfall attribution as the way to measure performance of the campaign.
Cam, there is a difference in your view between location intelligence and proximity marketing. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, look, that's a fundamental difference, Paul, and I would encourage every agency person and marketer to investigate it to the best of their ability, because proximity is not right for every campaign, and in fact, if we were to look across the landscape of all the campaigns we've worked on, it would probably represent less than 10% of all campaigns. Location, though, is absolutely critical. And this comes back to human behaviour. And I like to use the analogy that when we're all surveyed about our behaviours, we tend to lie. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, depends who it is, depends what it's about.
You a lot, me not so much.
Well, look, if someone asked me how many standard drinks I had a week or how regularly I went to the gym, I'm sure that the number that turned up in the survey may well be different to what my actual behaviour is. The reason that we default to using the mobile device is because it spends 75% of its life attached to its owner, and it doesn't lie about that behaviour. And that's what location is. Location is around identifying audiences based on their real world behaviours, and then using additional rich third-party data sources that the industry is familiar with, like Roy Morgan, Experian, to overlay socioeconomic segments. But at its very heart, location is what tells us about the audience.
And proximity, for those that are not deep into this area,
Yep.
What's the difference then with proximity? How do you define that?
So proximity is very simply looking at a physical location and then popping a radius around that physical location and targeting devices within that radius.
The next 12 months, NEAR and MCN, what do you see unfolding in a year's time? What does the partnership look like, and what's possible?
I think where it gets very, very exciting is when we start to ingest and integrate our data sets together. Now that might be something as simple as lookalike audiences. There are very popular MCN environments Fox Sports, for example, and we can look at audiences that consume Fox content, and we can replicate those audiences across our network, which means that there's a greater opportunity for reach and frequency. And then a little bit more exciting again is when we can actually start matching out to cross-app behaviours, and then right through to something as, you know, as fundamental to MCN's offering as multi-view, and really that would be the aim in the next 12 months.
Thank you, and we look forward to some more conversations in the next couple of months.
Look, absolutely a pleasure, Paul. We can't wait to continue.